Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to Crochet Witch Tarot. And today I'm finally doing a walkthrough of my modified Antique Anatomy. I've been wanting to do this flip through for a while, but I just kept forgetting. So I followed along with Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot's Mod With Me. I think it was a Mod With Me video. But she modified her Antique Anatomy in just the coolest, most fun way ever. And it just really, really inspired me. I had a copy of this deck probably within the first 5 decks I ever had. And it was just something that was just too much too soon. I wasn't ready for pips of any sort, so I just didn't really appreciate it at the time. So that has been rehomed somewhere. Not sure with who. Can't remember that. It was so long ago, oh my gosh. But anyhow, after I watched that video, I went out the next morning and got a new copy of Antique Anatomy with the sole purpose of doing this mod, and I was just so excited about it. So I pretty much followed most of Dawn Michelle's video, so I will link that down below as well because it was just such a good video. But what I did different is I got a sticker book as well and added stickers onto some of the cards, not all of the cards, but a lot of the cards, to add in my own symbology to the pips. It just was a really fun exercise almost, because I love the more vintage feel Dawn Michelle gave to her deck through her mod. But I'm not one usually for pip decks. I will say that this deck feels like the exception. Even right out of the box, it felt like something I really enjoyed. But typically I'm not one for pips. So adding in my own images, I'm just going to bring this in a little while I speak, I guess, really has been helpful. Now, I've heard, I feel like, in multiple places that the flowers in this deck are not purposeful. I don't believe that's true. I think if you go through and you look up the flowers, for ones I don't recognize, a good thing to do has been using the Google image search. That's been helpful. And then I'll look up the flower meanings, and more times than not, the meanings tie in somehow, I feel. So something really fun I've been doing also, as I've been using this deck, honestly, I have to say I've not used it a ton since doing the mod. I think this is one that's going to come out a lot more come fall. But as I pull cards, I will look into the flowers if I have time, and I'll jot them down in my guidebook. I won't be going through that today, but let me know if that interests anyone. As I kind of continue that practice, I would be happy to share. I am really interested in the language of flowers, florography. So it's just been a really fun exercise almost. Anyhow, I think we should just get started. So, starting with the Fool, I added this butterfly. I feel like the butterfly can be a symbol of just so much. Part of this is going to be me remembering. It's going to be a fun game, me remembering why did I put this here. Because of course I didn't write it down. But it was so fun personalizing this deck. I can't get over it. I think it came out really neat. Anyway, butterfly, Fool. I'm also doing this after work, so my brain's a little bit shut off. I think what I pictured here, for some reason, was a butterfly, like, fresh out of a cocoon, kind of entering this new stage, and like they don't really know anything about being a butterfly, but there's some instincts in that, I think that's what I was picturing there. I'm not sure, or I just like the butterfly. The Magician. So as I said, not every card has a sticker on it. Some of it is just the fun addition of these book pages. I will also say, so the book I used is one of my favorite books, and this series is actually what got me started on my witchcraft journey, believe it or not. It is the Witch City Mystery series by Carol J. Perry. This is the first book, Caught Dead-Handed. I'm not gonna zoom out to show because we had the perfect angle there. I'll show the side. How about that? If you haven't read this series, I highly recommend. It's a cozy mystery, and I kind of in passing seen a bit going around about witchcraft or having a practice, but it just wasn't really in my realm. Reading this book though just got me so interested, and there was divination, and it just was so awesome. So I purposefully, I never owned a copy of the book. I read it from the library, so I got this copy just for the use of crafting, because I really wanted to kind of make the pages I added a bit symbolic for myself as well. So I thought it'd be really cool to add in pages from a book that really kickstarted, I mean, what is so big and important to me now. I also didn't really have any books that I felt like I could tear. So there's that as well. The High Priestess, again, just kind of a funny symbol for myself with this witch. Because what a journey that was. The Empress, I added this egg to just represent that fertility and just the care that needs to go into eggs. You know, like their incubation period. Someone's gotta be sitting on that, like, all the time. Seems like hard work. And sort of like a gestation period. Is that the right word? I feel like if that's not the right word, it's like really the wrong word to use. So I'm hoping that was correct. But I feel like I see the Empress in that way sometimes, of like pausing, caring for yourself so that you can kind of break from some kind of shell or move forward in some kind of way. The Emperor, I have a hawk. I think just because of the power that they really hold. And they're complex creatures, and I find the Emperor to kind of be a complex card. The Hierophant, I have this, you know, crow or raven, however you want to see it. Either way, to me, those are big symbols of messages from spirit. The Lovers. The Chariot. I mean, I had to. Some of my favorite decks have a snail in the Chariot card, and I just think that's the best. So I had to add one. I do love how we get these horse skulls in here, though. Strength. I kind of got a little funny with this one. I added in this little cat just because I thought it was a funny juxtaposition to the usual lion, but also, I mean, to me, I think the average house cat, not to call them average, very sorry to all the cats out there, I would argue that they might even be tougher than lions. I mean, Stevie rules over this house, you know? So it kind of had a double meaning there. The Hermit. Hermit crab shell. I feel like that's self-explanatory. But what I do find interesting, actually, about that symbol is that a hermit crab's shell is very protective. They can withdraw into it when they need to, but at some point they do outgrow it. And I think that's an important aspect of the hermit, of knowing when you've outgrown that solitary phase. The Wheel. Oh, I guess I should give details. Gosh, I've never really done a video about a mod. So for the edging, I think that's really the only thing I missed out on. I used, again, a lot of this comes from Dawn Michelle's video, that's why I'm not really going too far into what exactly I did here, because I followed her video to a T aside from the stickers I added, and then I'm probably used a different kind of edging. I'm not really sure, but I used the, oh, what are those ink pads? Oh gosh, so many people use them. Hold on. We really didn't plan this out before we just kind of sat down. Although, how do we feel about the lighting? I have a light now. So that's exciting. The Distress ink. I used the Distressed ink in Antique Linen. So that is the color. I've used it so many other times. I bought it specifically to do this deck with, but then I also edged my whole Memento Mori in the same color. So that's another fun thing, is that they kind of match in a way now. Justice. I have the Blue Jay. I feel like if there is a symbol of just pure fairness in nature, it's the Blue Jay. Because they're a bit complex as well. It really shows that circle of life idea, because Blue Jays will occasionally, you know, take eggs from nests. They're very territorial when it comes to their feeding grounds. I get 7. They're around here still during the summer, but I notice them more when I have my feeder out in the winter. It's the same birds. They tend to stay in one area, and they are very territorial over that feeder. But if there is a hawk or an owl nearby, they can mimic the bird call to warn all the other birds. So they just have this interesting complexity about them that, for me, feels very Justice-like. Kind of, they're going to protect the other birds, but they're not going to ignore their own natural instincts, I suppose. I don't know. Hanged Man. Death. I put this mushroom because it looks poisonous to me. And it's another double meaning, because mushrooms are also almost the living proof of breakdown and change in some way. Because I see the death card as change, as breakdown, and I mean, mushrooms can only form if something has died or is decaying, and it's sort of taking that matter and forming it into something completely different, which I think is interesting. Temperance. The Devil. The Tower. The Star. I put these doves because they're just a common symbol of peace, and I like how it seems almost like they are feeding each other, which to me gave off this feeling of healing. The Moon. I think I just really liked this sticker. It seemed to fit. The Sun. Again, liked the sticker. Judgment. I put this because in the Smith-Waite deck we've got that angel in the sky, so I thought it kind of was reminiscent of that. And the World. On to our cups, we have the Ace of Elixirs. So I put an egg again because it's also a symbol of potential to me. So it's fertility, but also potential. I think the shell was probably just because water. Two of Cups, I put this swan sticker because swans mate for life, which is so cute. Three of Cups, I put ladybugs. Because a lot of the times when I see ladybugs, they're always, not always, sometimes you see, you know, just a single one, but a lot of the times I'll see them in these kind of swarms. You know, you always know spring is coming, at least around me. It's always March. If you're a house that gets ladybugs, it's happening in March, and you get so many at once. 4. I've got these wilting flowers here. 5 of Cups. I put an hourglass, which is pretty cool. Why did I put that? To me, I think it's because the 5 of Cups comes up a lot for me when I'm sort of letting myself kind of sit in that sulking kind of mood. And so the hourglass feels like a symbol of, you know, time's ticking. Are you gonna sit here and feel sorry for yourself, or just move on and have some fun? 6 of Cups. I just thought that was perfect. The little girl with her doll. 7 of Cups. I think this really gave off the feeling of kind of being almost in an illusion, a dream-like state, not really facing reality. 8 of Cups. This time I know the butterfly with transformation, because I think 8 of Cups is such a transformative moment of you're walking away from something that isn't serving you anymore. 9 of Cups. I thought this was fun with, you know, that usual image we get of someone in their garden. And I mean, how peaceful does that look? 10 of Cups. Is that binoculars? I don't really know why I put that sticker. It's pretty. Forget me not, it says. I think it might have just been the feeling, you know, when you get flowers. It does feel like that 10 of Cups, forget me not, because 10 of Cups I feel like, to me, feels like a card of belonging, almost. That like really pure, happy feeling of emotional fulfillment and like you fit somewhere. Yes, that's why I put that sticker. It comes back eventually. Page of Cups, we have a starfish. I think just because ocean. Knight of Cups, we have the frog. I know why this one I thought was interesting, because usually we see the Knight of Cups as near the water, not in the water. And sort of, you know, and their whole, are they holding a cup of water? I think they are. So I thought a frog was an interesting symbol. One, because usually with knights we have that sense of movement, and, you know, frogs hopping makes some sense to me. But also they are amphibious, so they can be on land or in water. They can pick and choose. And the Knight of Cups sometimes comes to mean that for me of, you know, are you kind of picking and choosing, you know, where your emotions are lying right now? Queen of Cups. I like this woman in the apple tree. I just thought that was a cool symbol for the Queen of Cups. I see apples as symbolic, you know, I feel like they could be symbolic of just everything, like fertility, but I see it as emotion too. And the King of Cups, I have a polar bear because they feel like aquatic animals to me, but very fierce ones. And look how fierce that one looks. If we'll focus. There we go. Ace of Rods. I mean, that is an Ace of Rods, no? What a coincidence, I thought. Two of Rods with Wands. We've got a clock here because it's kind of about, or I see the Two of Wands as, for me it comes up in a patience kind of way of like, okay, stop to really plan and think about this, please. Three of Wands. Oh my gosh, this just reminded me of the Smith-Waite card where they're looking out into the ocean, but I just thought that was so funny too. Like, he's ready to go. He's got his arms wide open, whatever the universe wants to bring him. Four of Wands. I see that as comfort space, as home. And what better than a nest? Five of Wands. Oh, I know why I picked this. I thought this was funny. We've got a cat playing the fiddle for some mice. And you could see that as, okay, they're genuinely getting along and playing together. Or this cat is just luring them in with some music. Let's see if that'll, come on. You can do it. I want to show the cat. Well, you can see it better there. All right. Six of Wands. I have the Memento Mori sticker because, you know, that is a celebration card, the Six of Wands, celebrating yourself. And I do not take enough time, most of the time, to really celebrate myself and tell myself, you know, just even good job. You did good. And I thought the Memento Mori, you know, being that phrase of, what is it? Something along the lines of everyone dies kind of thing. Like, really meaning, you know, live in the moment because everyone ends up the same way. I thought that would be a good message to me of why not appreciate yourself more, you know? I'm the best one to do it. Seven of Wands. I put this hot air balloon looking thing because you get a pretty high vantage point, I would imagine, from a hot air balloon. Eight, I've got a cricket because they move pretty quickly. They jump pretty fast. Nine. 10 of Wands. This kind of cracked me up because all I could think was, you know, when, at least in the job I'm in, you know, I do obviously a lot of usual librarian duties, but I work for a very small town library. So you kind of end up doing some things that probably isn't in the librarian job description. So we always say that we wear many hats, and sometimes those hats can be a lot. So this sticker really just reminded me of that. We've got the Page of Wands. I thought this sticker was perfect because I really see the Page of Wands as just ready to get into anything, just try anything. We've got a lot of different things going on there. Knight of Wands, it's that fast movement. This bird really looks like it's diving. Queen of Wands, again, it was about the movement. And the Queen of Wands to me is so, it's that caretaking, but in such a happy, involved way. And this just really felt that way to me. And the King of Wands, again, just a very active looking figure. And he's got a crown. All right. We've got the Ace of Swords with more butterflies, because again, not again, but see all the meanings butterflies can have? Here, I just really thought air, element of air. And again, potential. I feel like butterflies really hold potential as well. Two of Swords. The blindfold I just thought was too perfect. Three of Swords. I thought this image was really interesting of the sun illuminating the moon. Because the Three of Swords comes up a lot for me when I really need to do some shadow work. And I feel like the Three of Swords and the Moon card can have a really interesting link if you think about it. So I thought that kind of represented that. Four of Swords, it's such a pretty card. Five. I thought these birds looking like they're kind of swooping, and I don't know, you could see them battling in a way. Six. Seven of Swords. Sometimes I see the Seven of Swords as like a trap, almost. So the web really showed that for me. Eight of Swords. I thought this was really interesting. So this is a moth here. And I thought it was kind of a cool symbol for the Eight of Swords, especially one that looks like this, because they're colored this way in order to scare away possible predators, because this makes them look like an owl. If they're just kind of hanging out on a tree, they look like an owl face, which owls are a predator to many, many animals. So I thought that was an interesting symbol for the Eight of Swords, because, you know, a moth has a lot of predators, and so if you think about it in that way, it's kind of sad, I guess. And if I were a moth, I feel like it'd be really easy to just kind of give in to that idea of, you know, being really vulnerable, when in reality they've adapted in a way that makes them actually not all that vulnerable, makes them actually really strong and frightening in a way. Nine of Swords. I just thought this was weird, and I mean, I think they kind of look anxious. I just liked it. 10 of Swords. Page. What was my thought here? I know there had to be one. Oh, what do I think? I think the bunny reminded me of Peter Rabbit, who gives very Page of Swords energy to me for some reason. Knight of Swords. I mean, this is a knight. It looks like a fairy knight on a butterfly. I mean, so much air energy going on there. I love it. It was too perfect. Queen of Swords. It was her facial expression. She just looks like a Queen of Swords, does she not? That seriousness. And the King of Swords. These hands to me felt very businesslike, and it reminded me of the Emperor in the Playful Heart Tarot, which is very much a kind of business mogul looking person. Whoop! Upside down. Ace of coins. I put a strawberry. I think they are another symbol of fertility and potential. And I love strawberries. And the coin suit is my favorite suit always. So you'll kind of tell with the stickers. I saved some of my very favorites. 2 of coins. I mean, the balancing that has to go on there. Standing on the back of a horse. 3 of coins, that working together. I think beads are a really cool symbol of that, because they work together to build this really intricate hive. 4 of coins. You know, sometimes that holding on too tight or needing to hold on tighter. Sometimes you gotta lock it up, and sometimes you don't need to. So I thought that was a cool symbol. 5 of coins. What do I think about that bear? The 5 of coins, I think, is just kind of a bit of a, I don't mean to say scary in that, like, we should always be afraid of it, but the message it gives is a serious one, I find. So I thought the scary bear made sense. It made sense to me somehow. Still does. I don't know how to explain it. 6 of coins. Oh gosh, with this mouse. I think this was because I see the 6 of coins as generosity, but not always intentional or well-intentioned generosity. And I think the mouse reminded me of when I found a mouse in our pantry. And so I was very non-intentionally being very generous to this mouse. I mean, I gave him a whole meal of dried noodles that he seemed to really like. Yeah, I think that's why I put that. 7 of coins. I mean, to me, this chipmunk with his face absolutely stuffed, he looks like he's pausing to think. Was this my best idea? Is there a better way for me to do this? But also a preparation, because, you know, they do this and then I can picture this chipmunk scurrying along to go bury his food somewhere in preparation for winter. 8 of coins. I put mushrooms again. This time I put them because, and different kinds of mushrooms, because it just made me think of mushroom foraging and how educated and practiced you really need to be to safely mushroom forage on your own, you know, without getting them checked afterwards, I imagine, because, gosh, a lot of them look the same, and some are poisonous and some are not. 9 of coins. The oak leaf to me is really about prosperity. And so I thought that was perfect for the 9 of coins. And the 10. This card is so pretty. This one really speaks for itself, I feel. The page. Look at this little chipmunk examining the hazelnut. Really thinking and learning. I love it. So cute. Knight of coins. The Knight of coins, to me, is the slowest moving, really taking his time. So again, we had to bring back the snail. Queen of coins. I really picked this one to show the, is it a cat we see with the Queen of coins though? Or is that the Queen of wands? Well, now I can't remember. Now I'm second guessing myself. We're gonna look it up real quick. Because then there must have just been another. I think my other thought of this is that they are very much domestic cats here shown. And the Queen of Coins to me is that real mothering energy in almost a practical way, caring for you by, you know, making sure you're fed and that her kittens are bathed and things like that. So I just thought this was a real Queen of Pentacles energy. Yeah, no, it's the Queen of Wands that has a cat. Right? Yes. Okay, so that wasn't it. Anyway, and the king with the bear. I just love seeing the bear as the King of Pentacles. I feel like that symbol comes up a lot, and I just like it. But, my friends, that is the flip through. So again, I use the, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of that, Distress ink, an antique linen. Used John Michel's method with the book pages, so it was just putting glue stick down where I wanted the pages to stick, putting a sheet over and tearing it away carefully, and then using matte Mod Podge over the whole thing. But again, if you are interested in doing a mod like this, I would definitely watch her video because she really goes through and explain it. The only thing, again, that I did differently was I added these stickers before the Mod Podge. So I hope you all enjoyed that video. I am so excited to have this deck. Also, it shuffles perfectly fine, I'll add, if that is a question. It feels really cool to have something that feels so personal to me. But other than that, I hope you are all having a wonderful week.